Hello everyone, welcome to Math 2 Unit 6. This is Lesson 6.7, Parallel Lines in the Plane. In this video we'll be focusing on the warm-up. For the warm-up, let's look at question 1 first. Draw any non-vertical line in the plane and then draw two possible translations of the line. So non-vertical line is pretty open-ended. It could be horizontal, it could be diagonal. So I'm just going to start off with a diagonal line that goes through point this 1 and then the -1. And let's call this line A. So that's the first part, so we're done with that. The second part asks us to draw two possible translations. So if y'all remember from our rigid transformations, right, a translation is just a shift or a glide of the line. So I'm going to do one shift to the right. So let's shift line A to the right by 1 unit. So I'm going to move this point here, and then I'll move this point here. So now I've got the second here. And this should be going through this point. Sorry, my drawing's a little bit off. And this, I'll call this A prime. And then that's our first translation. And then I'm going to do the next translation as a shift to the left 1. So our point 0, 1 here will shift over here. And then our point -1, 0 will shift to -2, 0. And then I am going to draw this line. Okay, so that is our point, our line. I'm going to call this A double prime, right? So we've got our original line in black, line A, our translated line to the right by 1 unit. This is A prime, and then our A double prime line, which is in green, and this was the line that was shifted 1 unit to the left. So the second part of the question asks us to find the slope of your original line and the slopes of the images. And if you remember, we use the word image to describe the figure after it is transformed. So in this case, it would be the brown and the green lines. What do you notice about these slopes? So let's start by finding the slope of line A. I'm going to write that over here, slope of line A. So folks, when we think about slope, right, we think about rise over run. So think of this as the change in y, and we use this symbol called delta, and delta just means change. So change in y over change in x. And the way to find the change in y, right, is to take the difference between two y coordinates, and then to find the change in x, we take the difference between two x coordinates. So let's start with those 2 points that were given here. Right, we've got 0, 1, and then we've also got -1, 0. So to find our rise, right, we're going to be looking at our y coordinates here. So for our rise, I'm going to take the difference between my y coordinates. So it doesn't really matter which one we choose to be y2, as long as we stay consistent with that for the x values as well. So I'm going to just label this one as my y2, and we'll call this one my y1. So 1 minus 0, right? So that's y2 minus my y1. And then I'll label this as my x2, x2, and then my x1 over here. So this one will be 0 minus a -1. So if we simplify this further, 1 minus 0 is 1 over, and then folks, if we subtract a negative, so that negative, that becomes a positive. So 0 plus 1 is just 1. So our slope here of line A and I'm going to use the letter M. We usually use the letter M to represent our slope. So our slope of line A is equal to 1. Let's take a look at finding the slope of our line A prime now. So slope of line A prime. So we've got these 2 points here, 1, 1 and 0, 0. So let's put this together in our rise over run. I'm just going to get straight to it here. So let's take the difference of our y coordinates. So 1 minus 0 over our x coordinates, the difference of our x coordinates. So this will also give us 1 over 1. So the slope of A prime is equal to 1 as well. Okay, and then let's finish off with finding the slope of line A double prime. So we'll end it here. Slope of A double prime, line. So for this one, let's look back up here to find our 2 points. We've got -1, 1. So I'll write that down. And then we have -2, 0. So let's find the slope for that with our rise over run formula. I'll take 1 minus 0, right? Those are our y coordinates over my difference of x coordinates. So -1 minus, a -2. So we've got 1 minus 0 on the top, which is 1, over, this one simplifies to -1 plus 2, right? Again, we've got that subtracting a negative. So -1 plus 2. So now we've got 1 over, -1 plus 2 is equal to 1. So for the slope of line A prime, that is also equal to 1. All right, interesting. So the second part of this question was asking us, what do we notice about these slopes? Well, all of the slopes are equal, right? We're seeing that they all have a slope of 1. We are going to be exploring this relationship a little bit more in the next activities with regards to how properties of slope will compare for parallel lines. So I'll see you in the next video.